Hello everyone! Welcome to Storytime. You are here with Miss Alyssa from the Pocosin Public Library, and I want to thank you all for joining me today for a very springy story time. So today's theme is gardens, so we're going to read some books about gardens and sing some songs and have a very fun and warm time. Alright, so we're going to get started with our hello song. And this one is hello friends with some sign language. So I'll go ahead and go over the signs that we'll be using. So hello, we're going to put our hands up to our foreheads and we're going to bring them out. So that's hello. And then friends is we're going to use our index fingers and we're going to lock them together. And you can go kind of interchange them like this. And then time. So I have my watch, so we're going to point to our watch. And then say is we're going to put our hands up to our mouth or our chin and bring it out. So say and hello. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to say hello. Awesome. Alrighty. So we're gonna get started with our first rhyme, and this one is 5 fat peas. So we're gonna count some peas on our hands. So we have our 5 fat peas in a pea pod press, and then as they grow, we're going to count with our fingers, and then they're gonna grow and they're gonna grow, and then when I say their pods went pop, we're gonna give a big clap. Okay? All right. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. 5 fat peas in a pea pod pressed. 1 grew, 2 grew, so did all the rest. They grew and they grew and they did not stop until one day the pod went pop. Yeah, let's do that one more time. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. 5 fat peas in a pea pod pressed. 1 grew, 2 grew, so did all the rest. They grew and they grew and they did not stop until one day the pod went pop. All right. So our first book we're going to read is called My Garden by Kevin Henkes. And we want to thank HarperCollins for giving us permission to read this book today. And this is a very fun book about what you would do if you had your own garden. So can you imagine if you had a garden and you can grow whatever you want? You can grow whatever colors of flowers. You can grow maybe things that aren't plants or flowers. So this book will explore your imagination of what you could grow if you put your mind to it. All right. My mother has a garden and I'm her helper. I water, I weed, and I chase away the rabbits so that they don't eat all the lettuce. It's hard work and my mother's garden is very nice. But if I had a garden, there would be no weeds and the flowers would keep blooming and never die. In my garden, the flowers could change color just by my thinking about it. Pink, blue, green, purple, even patterns. Look at the patterns on the flowers. You have never seen that on a flower, have you? I haven't. But this is what she would plant. And if you picked a flower, another one would grow right back in its place. In my garden, the rabbits wouldn't eat the lettuce because the rabbits would be chocolate and I would eat them. Can you imagine having chocolate rabbits all in your garden? If I planted seashells, I'd grow seashells. If I planted jelly beans, I'd grow big jelly bean bush. Oh my gosh, I think I would want that. Sometimes in my garden, good, unusual things would just pop up. Buttons and umbrellas and rusty old keys. In my garden, there would be birds and butterflies by the hundreds, so that the air was humming with wings. The tomatoes would be as big as beach balls, and the carrots would be invisible because I don't like carrots. At night, the morning glories would stay open, shining like stars, and the strawberries would glow like lanterns. It's night now. Only the fireflies and the porch light are glowing. Before bed, I take one seashell from the shelf in my room and go to the garden. I poke the seashell into the ground. Who knows what might happen? I cover it up with dirt and pat down the dirt with my foot. What are you doing? Asks my mother. Oh, nothing, I say, just working in the garden. The end. Look at that seashell, it's growing fruits. Can you imagine planting a seashell and having a seashell plant? So that was my garden, and this is what all the things she would grow if she had her own garden. So you think about what you would grow and what you would have in your gardens. All right, so we have another song, and this is The Gardener Digs the Soil. And this is sung to the farmer in the dell. And so we have some motion, so let's go over what we have. So the gardener digs the soil. So can we pretend to dig with a shovel? So the gardener digs the soil. And then the gardener plants the seeds. So let's drop some seeds into the soil. And then rain falls on the ground. So we're going to bring our fingers down like rain. And then the sun shines bright and warm. So we're going to have sunshine shining down on the plants. And then the plants begin to grow. So we're going to bring our hands up. And then flowers all around. So we're going to have our arms out and have flowers all around us. And then we have fresh vegetables to eat. So we're going to pick, let's say a carrot, and we're going to chew on our carrot. All right, so we have, remember, digs the soil and plants the seed, and the rain falls down, and then the sun shines bright and warm. Then we have flowers. Oh, the plants begin to grow, flowers all around, and vegetables to eat. All right, we ready? 1, 2, 3. The gardener digs the soil. The gardener digs the soil. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The gardener digs the soil. The gardener plants the seed. The gardener plants the seed. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The gardener plants the seed. The rain falls on the ground. The rain falls on the ground. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The rain falls on the ground. The plants begin to grow. The plants begin to grow. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The plants begin to grow. The sun shines bright and warm. The sun shines bright and warm. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The sun shines bright and warm. The flowers all around. The flowers all around. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The flowers all around. Fresh vegetables to eat. Fresh vegetables to eat. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. Fresh vegetables to eat. Yay! All right, that one was a fun one. Okay, we have one more book to read, and this one is called Harlem Grown by Tony Hillary and illustrated by Jesse Hartland. And we want to thank Simon & Schuster for giving us permission to read this book. And this story is actually based on a true story. So this is about a teacher who discovered a school that had no gardens around them because they're in New York, and New York has just lots of streets and buildings and not a lot of gardens. So what he did was started a gardening program, and let's see what happens. Once in a big city called New York, in a bustling neighborhood called Harlem, there was an empty lot. Nevaeh called it the Haunted Garden. It was cluttered with wrecked couches and TVs, broken bottles, and empty cans. Once in a big city in a bustling neighborhood, there was Nevaeh School. PS 175 it was called, and it sat across from the Haunted Garden. One day a man came to PS 175. Mr. Tony, the kids called him. When Mr. Tony saw those kids in that haunted garden, he had an idea. What do you think his idea is? He began to clear the haunted garden, one piece of trash at a time. And you can see everybody helping out to help clean it out. Soon it was a clean slate, a blank canvas. Mr. Tony laid down new, clean soil. He invited Nevaeh to help. Seeds, shovels, water. Nevaeh started to plant. Then she dug holes in the ground. Into the holes she placed her seedlings, and then she carefully covered them with dirt. Her friends came too. 400 seedlings went into the ground, one for each kid. Basil, mint, cilantro, rosemary. Then the kids watered and weeded, and their plants began to grow. Once when Nevaeh came to the lot after school, her plant was wilted and sad. "We'll try again," said Mr. Tony. "We'll plant something different." Wood, hammer, nails. Mr. Tony built raised beds for the plants. The kids tried again. Peas and broccoli, mint and eggplants. They watered and weeded. And at last, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, blueberries, strawberries, collard greens, kale, basil, arugula. Mr. Tony watched and helped and smiled. More kids came from the neighborhood. They tended their plants, which grew and grew. Up came more fruits and vegetables. The kids took their green beans and carrots and cucumbers home to their families for dinner. Once in a big city called New York, in a bustling neighborhood called Harlem, there was a man with an idea. There were kids who wanted to help, and they made a farm. And there's Mr. Tony in real life. So, this is a story about you can plant a garden anywhere. So, even if you don't have a yard or a garden, you can have a pot with some dirt and some seeds and water, and you can have your own garden inside a little pot. So, that is our story time today. All about gardening. So spring is almost here. So I think it's time that we start thinking about what we want to plant and put in our gardens. So maybe you plant some seashells or buttons like in this book. Or maybe you want to plant some real fruits and vegetables or some flowers. Anything would be great. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and sing our goodbye song. And remember, this is just like our hello song. But instead of saying hello, we're going to say goodbye to our friends. All right, ready? Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me today for story time. I hope you enjoy the spring weather that's coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.